Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others, or by a fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Machedo is the best.
Hi there, Loy Machedo Sweeney from LoyMachedo.com. Who's Loy Machedo? Think Personal Branding. Now, today I want to give you my thoughts with regards to a rather controversial topic that has been floating around. If you check Google.com and you type Indians arrested for supporting Pakistani cricket team, you'll get Indians arrest 7 for celebrating Pakistan win. From The Guardian, you'll have from France 24 students, teacher arrested in India for celebrating Pakistani cricket win. CNN reports police arrest Kashmiri Muslims for celebrating Pakistan cricket team over victory over India. And then obviously you have different other outlets. Okay. Now, I'll give you my thoughts with regards to this subject. And but before I do that, I just want to make one thing clear. I'm not sharing this to fan the flames of hatred against Hindus and Muslims. Personally, I don't care which side is happier or which side is sadder. I always like things to be fair. Okay. Just so that you know, it's not that I'm supporting Hindus, I'm supporting Muslims. No, for me, human beings, I like to support human beings who do good, okay, irrespective of which religion. So I don't want this video to be used for hatred. Rather, it should be used for good things, okay? Now, that's number one. The second thing is, I request whomsoever is watching this to get an understanding that we need to stop hatred, because hatred doesn't help anyone. Whether you support Muslims or whether you support Hindus or whichever religion, hatred doesn't help. Okay? So having gotten that out of the way, I'll give you my thoughts. Before I do start, I just want to say a big thank you to one of my friends who is in the BJP. He's a very hardcore BJP guy. He and I argue a lot. And he was very kind enough to give me 3 gifts. One is Who Painted My Money White by Sri Iyer. It's a best-selling book. He has asked me to read it because apparently in this book, it exposes the dark underbelly of what is happening in India. Then the next one is Who Painted My Lust Red, Sri Iyer. Okay. And the last one is The Myth of Hindu Terror, okay, by RVS Mani. Okay, these 3 are bestsellers. The gentleman who has given me this book, his name is Avinash. He's a hardcore BJP supporter, but we disagree on a lot of things. But having said that, he is on a personal level. Even though we disagree, we are pretty okay with each other. So I wish people were like this, where you disagree on ideologies and disagree on bad ideas, but you can still be friends. In fact, the funny thing, which I just want to tell you before I even do move into my video, I've never had, even though I've spoken quite extensively against a lot of BJP policies, which, I've given my opinion that I don't agree with this. I've not spoken against anyone. I've never had a BJP individual who has given me death threats. This is the funny bit, huh? But the funny thing is, even though I've not spoken bad about Congress, I actually received death threats from Congress supporters, especially one in Kerala, an old, it seems is a very big Congress guy. And one Congress youth leader both threatened me with death threats. Even though I speak against BJP, no one from BJP has ever threatened me. Shiv Sena, yes, I used to have that before when I used to speak about Bal Thackeray. But it's so funny, and so I'm just letting this be transparent, so But having said that, just so that you know, I will still continue being fair. In all fairness, I will criticize bad ideas. And even if you do give me gifts, which I appreciate, thank you so very much, that will not change my opinion on what is right and what is wrong. Okay, I'll always give you. So let's quickly move on to the video. Now, so special thanks to Avinash. Avinash, if you're watching this video, thank you very much, but I still will criticize bad ideas. Okay. Having said that, let's move on. Now, like I said, if you Google search the headlines, you'll see India and police arrest 7 for celebrating Pakistani cricket win. Student teacher arrested in India for celebrating Pakistan cricket win. CNN reports police arrest Kashmiri Muslims for celebrating Pakistan cricket win over India. Now, this is my analysis. Number one is, it all depends which side you're on. If you're on the Hindu, BJP, nationalistic side, you would say this is justified. If you are on the Muslim, Al Jazeera, TRT, the pro-Muslim side, you would say this is wrong. Okay? The Hindu side portrays Hindu as good and Muslims as bad. And the Muslim side portrays Muslim as good, they are the victims, and Hindus are bad. Okay? In fact, if you go to most of the videos of Al Jazeera and almost all the videos of TRT, they have portrayed India, BJP, and Hindus in a very bad light. Almost everything in TRT about India and the BJP is negative. Now, I'm being very fair. I'm being very explicit and open. Now, that's not to say that the BJP are saints. That's not to say that all Hindus are nice. At the same time, not all Hindus are bad. Like, for example, I'll give a small example. Now, I have never seen TRT have anything good to say about the BJP or anything good to say about Hindus. This is a fact. At the same time, I've never heard a BJP supporter criticize anything about the BJP. Like, for example, you remember the farmers, they were walking and it seems a minister's son in a car ran over them. Okay. Now, this video was actually shared online and I got a copy of the video. When I shared this in my groups, I have multiple WhatsApp groups. When I shared this in the WhatsApp groups, almost all the BJP supporters said this video is fake. Okay. They said it's fake. So I said, okay, fine. They said, I challenge you, show me any news outlet that's reporting this. Finally, when I showed them 1 or 2 news outlets, they said, this is, the typical, this is pro-Congress, this is Pakistan supported, this is Khalistan, this is fake news. Okay, fine. But then when it became global and all the news outlets reported it, then they changed their verdict to saying, you are innocent until proven guilty. Okay, fine. And then they even had this theory that, can you prove that this is the minister's vehicle? Can you prove it? Then when it was proven that it was the minister's vehicle, they said, oh, then why have they not arrested him? Because he's innocent. He was never in the car. And then when they arrested him and he was taken to jail, they said, what? Oh, he's not implicated or whatever. Now, after he's implicated, they said, no, this is, he never told the driver this. And so the point I'm trying to tell you is, a person who is biased against his team or against his religion or against his political party, no matter what you show them, no matter what you share, even if God himself came down, being an atheist, I'm telling you, even if God himself came down and said, you're wrong, they will say, no, but, and they'll Google search and give you something else. So it's the same case for Hindus and it's the same case for Muslims and all other religions, Christians, Jews, whatever. Okay. So no amount of bias can help you. Now, number 3 is, we need to be very careful when you are choosing a media, which media are you looking at? And you need to be aware of what is the language that they use. Now, for example, like I told you, Al Jazeera and TRT are very pro-Muslim and anti-BJP, anti-Hindu. On the other hand, I'm pretty sure Republic TV is very pro-BJP and pro-Hindu. Okay, so it all depends which media. Now, the language that they use, if you actually look at it, The Western media always portrays Muslim as Islamic terrorists. Okay. However, I challenge you to Google search Western media and find Jewish terrorists. I want you to Google search and find out Christian terrorists. There is never Christian terrorists. There is never Jewish terrorists. There's only Islamic terrorists and Muslim, a Muslim terrorist. So that is the language that they use. The second thing is they'll always talk about the European allies. They will always talk of the American democracy. But when they talk about China or Iran or any of the countries that they don't agree with, it's called the regime. It's called the evil regime. It's called the tyranny, like the Russian regime or the Russian tyranny or the Russian communist or the Chinese regime or the Iranian regime. So the US media always portrays US and the West as good guys and people in the East as bad guys, okay? And everything that US does is good. Everything other countries who don't agree with the US does is evil and bad. Okay, so I want you to be careful of the media you're choosing and be aware of the language. Now, coming to more of the Indian thing, this is point number 4. See, you might not agree with me when I say this, but India is not a democracy. You'll be very shocked and you'll be like, what? What are you saying, Loy? Yes. India is not a democracy and as in it's not a perfect democracy. We would like to assume it is a perfect democracy. We would like to assume that there is freedom of speech. We would like to assume that it is a secular nation. It is not. India is not a perfect democracy. Okay? You might, what do I mean by that? What is democracy? Everyone's equal. Everyone has an equal voice. Everyone has a freedom of speech. Everyone has, all religions are equal. It is false. India is a majority Hindu nation and India is moving towards being a Hindu nation and it is a Hindu nation. The majority always rule. There's no freedom of speech. If I criticize Modi, if I criticize anybody, they will launch an FI. If I criticize any religion, they'll say you need to respect religion. So there is no freedom of speech. Okay. Like they say, freedom is not for free. They would say that. So let's not fool ourselves by saying there is freedom of speech. Let's not fool ourselves by saying India, all religions are equal. No, it's like saying all Indians are my brothers and sisters, but the population of India is almost the highest in the world. So who's fucking who? I mean, all Indians are brothers and sisters, right? So, and then it's like, oh, Indians are India is going to be a superpower. India is going to be this and that. India has plenty of problems, plenty. And the biggest one among all of them is the ignorance, the arrogance, the superstition, and the mindset of the majority of Indians. And no matter how much potential a country has, unless you change that, nothing's going to improve. Okay, so this is point number 4. Now, point number 5 is India and Pakistan have always had a bad, have had tension between them, have had bad blood for years. They've fought plenty of wars. And it's never, I'm telling you this, India-Pakistan will never resolve the issue. It is never going to happen. Never, even 1,000 generations, it's never going to happen. As long as India and Pakistan exist, as long as Hinduism and Islam exist, there's never going to be peace. There's always going to be a war, another war, another war, another war, okay? And it's not going to go anytime soon. So let's stop fooling ourselves that there's going to be peace between India and Pakistan, no matter what they do. And that is where, when you have this game of cricket, a game which is a national sport, a game which people associate their identity, their self-worth, their value, everything, there'll always be trouble. Let's keep this in mind. In fact, it's just like taking a spark and there's petrol and you throw, it will catch fire. Then point number 6 is, we always tend to focus on the extreme Hindus or extreme Muslims. In fact, the problem is not there. The problem is with the majority. And the majority are the ones who are quiet. The ones who are quiet, actually, they harbor and they keep a lot of hatred inside. They don't talk about this, but there is. In fact, when I speak to, we all have biases. We don't talk about it. We might be biased against someone who's fat. We might be biased against someone who's black. We might be biased against someone who's American, African, Muslim, Hindu, Christian. But we might not talk about, but there's bias. Even I do. Okay. Against the LGBTQ, against transgender. So nobody's perfect. But the thing is, majority of us keep it locked inside. So it's very hard to find out among the ones who are quiet who really has hatred. Okay. Then you have number 7, that is the troublemakers. Okay, there are a lot of troublemakers. 7 or 8, point number 8, I think. There are plenty of troublemakers around. We need to be very aware of this. Like, for example, in India, you have the Keralite. There are some Keralite Muslims who want a separate state. There is what is that? The islands. I can't get the name right now. Andaman and Nicobar Islands, I think. They want a separate state. Then there's Kashmir wants separate. This is ridiculous. For me, personally speaking, this is absolutely stupid. I mean, you're part of the nation. You're part of the country. You can't start, I want my own separate state. No, get the fuck out of the country. You can't break a country. If that is the case, let's say, for example, there are, I don't know how much, 36 states or 32 states or whatever of India. Each one starts saying, I want a separate one. What are we going to have? 32 or 36 different countries? And then you'll start having people with different religions. Okay, we want a Christian state. We want a Muslim state. It never ends. This is absolute stupidity. That's why the people who have left India, like these Keralite women who went and joined the ISIS in Afghanistan, or people who went and joined extremist organizations, even in the UK, that Shemama, Begum, whatever, don't fucking come back. When shit hits the ceiling, or when, your husband is dead, or now when they're treating you like shit, please don't come back. I don't have an iota of pity for such individuals. Okay. Now, coming to the reason why I give you the foundation of framework is to make you understand now what is my judgment with regards to the cricket. Now, like I told you, cricket is a national sport. Okay. Now, when anybody wins, either team, people like to do it publicly. Why do you think people go to a cricket match? They like the energy of a lot of people. In the same way, when you're on social media, people like to make a big noise. I mean, if you had to watch a TV alone, the pleasure or the fun is different. But when you watch with a group of 10, 20 people, it's different. When you watch a group in a crowded place, it's even more different. And then when you watch it in a stadium, it's great. So in the same way, like I have these WhatsApp groups. In some groups, like there's a hardcore debate, which is like profanity, bad words, attacking each other. There are only 20, 30 members. But in my other general groups, there are 200 plus members. What I've noticed is these guys who hate Muslims or who hate Hindus, okay, or their ideologies, they want to post not in the group where there are few people. They want to post it in the group where there are maximum number of people, where there is a maximum number of eyeballs. Why? Because they want attention. In fact, there was a big argument and fight between two close people of mine. Okay, one is a Muslim. He is from Hong Kong. One is my friend who supports the BJP. Now, the BJP guy, the Hindu guy, hates Muslims and Islam. And the Muslim guy, he doesn't hate, but he questions the ideologies or the unfair treatment. Now, they both were arguing with each other on a public platform. So finally, I told them, argue privately. Now, when they started to do privately, there was no fun. And they started to still say, they started to share their private conversation in the public group. I finally had to remove these people out. Why? Because people love attention. What do we do on social media? We do it for attention. We want everyone to see our post. We want everyone to like our post. We want everyone to comment. We enjoy the attention. But if there's no attention, if there's nobody watching, nobody wants to do anything. So now what is happening is people want attention. Now, given that people want attention, you need to understand that if you use social media and you use the attention format, there will be repercussions. There will be people who will support you and there will be people who will be against you. Now, when you post something online, don't expect everyone to like it and don't expect everyone to hate it. And if people do hate it, do expect trouble. Now, whenever I post any video, you think I don't get hatred? You think I don't get death threats? You think I don't get people who want to cause harm? 100%. That is why you need to be aware, or you need to take personal responsibility. If you post something online, it can be used against you, whether it's personally, privately, professionally, or in the court of law. Now, for those people who posted about Pakistan, about the Pakistan cricket team, let me tell you one thing. They are not dumb. They are not innocent. They are not like child or children. They knew exactly what they were doing. They knew for a fact they are supporting Pakistan. They knew for a fact that this is a sensitive issue. They knew for a fact that there would be repercussions. They knew it. How much they were not aware of it. Now, let's say, for example, I know that an issue is sensitive. Okay? Let's say I know an issue is sensitive. Now, after I start, prodding and poking and, trying to create trouble, if there is trouble, why should I complain? See, I'll give you a very simple example. Very simple example. I stayed in UAE for 40 years. UAE is a Muslim country. In my 40 years, not once did anyone say I'm anti-Muslim. Did anyone say that he does not like Islam? No, I do not like many things about Islam, but I never put it on social media. I never even remotely or even indirectly put anything negative about Arabs or Muslim or UAE, nothing. Until the day I decided, now it's time to leave and I'm leaving permanently. Only after I decided to leave permanently, I said, now I can openly say what I have to say. Why? Because when I was staying as a guest over there, it's my job not to criticize, not to make fun, not to insult, not to do anything that will land me in trouble. Now, today I'm staying in Thailand. It's common sense for me that even if I want to post something negative, I will not. It's common sense. Why? Because I'm a guest. Now, let's say you invited someone to your house and that person starts insulting you, making fun of you, talking shit about you, complaining. Will you keep that person or you'll throw him out? In the same way, these people who are staying in India, they are fully aware that there is tension between Hindus and Muslims. They are fully aware there's problems between India and Pakistan. Now, even after being aware of all that, still you put it on social media. If you did it privately, nobody would know about it. But you did it fucking in a public platform. You did it on social media. You did it for the world to see. And then when there is repercussions for it, why are you crying? Oh, it's so unfair. Oh, no, you are a fucking idiot. It's like, if I were, I've told you openly, if I was in India right now, if I was staying in India, believe it or not, I would not say one single negative thing about BJP, about Congress, about Hinduism, about Muslims. I would not say a single thing. Why? Because I don't know which lunatic or which crazy guy would cause trouble. Now, I could be logical, I could be fair, but I would still get into trouble. And I don't want drama. That is the reason why I have openly said it. I use common sense. If I was in India, I'd never speak on politics, never speak. Now, because I'm not staying in India, I am able to talk about it. But if I was there in India, man, they would file FIR, they would threaten me, they would set my house on fire, they would come through, take a knife, put it on my neck. In fact, we have seen videos where if someone spoke bad about Shiv Sena or something, 10, 20 guys surrounded the chap and took one razor blade and not razor blade, electric shaving machine and shaved his head off and put slippers on his neck and slapped him and put black stuff on his face. This is what goes on. I'm not saying all of them are bad, but this is the risk. So if every action has a reaction, it takes two hands to clap. So the same thing, I told the guys who are in my group, they said, Law, I see this Muslim guy is attacking me personally. I told him, it takes two hands to clap. Why is nobody sending me death threats? Why is nobody attacking me personally? Why is nobody attacking any other Hindu or any other Muslim? Why are they only attacking you? Because you're the one who initiated it. Okay. And then, I really find it so incredibly irritating when someone does something And then when you have to pay the price for it, oh, you play the victim card. No, that is not right. In fact, those people who have been arrested, those people who have been detained, you did something to attract that punishment. So take personal responsibility and accountability for it. Don't act like you're a fucking victim. Okay? And it's common sense. I told you, India is not a democracy. India is a pro-Hindu nation. India doesn't have freedom of speech. I've told you this. Then why are you acting like, oh, you see, if you want to create a revolution, expect repercussions. And you cannot change the entire country. You cannot change the majority. You cannot fight against people in power. You cannot fight those who are rich and those who, have contacts and connections. I mean, it's stupidity. Then don't cry about it. I know so many Hindus and Muslims who are living peacefully, who may not agree with so many things, but there's no drama, there's no trouble. Why? Because they're minding their own business. And then, last if not the least, okay? I told you this. If you poke a ferocious dog and it bites you, don't complain that the dog is biting you. You're the one who initiated that. I just want to conclude by giving you these bits that were in the paper. Wasim Akram, he spoke about, oh, we prayed namaz in front of the Hindus and he was very happy. For me, this is absolute stupidity, ignorance and arrogance personified. Prayer to God should be a very private thing. It's not, hey, see my balls and see my dick, man. See, everyone, see. That is how it shows when you are trying to show off your religion in public. Hey, look at my sausage, man. How nice is my sausage? If you really love your God, you'll pray privately. I hate all this in front of everyone. Allah. And you show everyone. Or your Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And you're showing everyone you're praying. Oh, you're joining hands and praying. Why? Do it privately. I respect the person who does it privately, not publicly. Publicly, you just want to show. You want to show that you're holy. You want to show for public approval, which is shame on you. And Wasim Akram, shame on him for, trivializing something that was so special and making a mockery out of his religion, out of the very act of prayer. In fact, Hindus and Muslims don't mind if you pray. But when you start politicizing, oh, we prayed in front of Hindu, fuck you. That's what I would tell you. Okay. The second one is these headlines about this attacking the Muslims and all that. People, let's not act like they're innocent and let's not act like they're fucking dumb. They knew exactly what the fuck they were doing. If I go to United States and I start tweeting anything about Israel and someone puts a court case or they file this thing that you are anti-Semitic. Like, for example, in France, you talk about Jews, it's anti-Semitism. They have no problem talking about Islam and Prophet, they'll draw cartoons and that is all okay. That is freedom of speech. So the minute you talk about Israel, it's called anti-Semitism. So these double standards exist everywhere. There's no nation that is perfect. So common sense should prevail. So stop acting like, oh, what is this? Oh, what is it? Now, these Western media that talk about India and all that, why don't you highlight your own issues? Why don't you talk about where you are biased? This is the problem. They'll only highlight what they wish for other people to see. And last, if not the least, remember, talking about religion, fighting about politics, this is the job of unproductive people. This is not the job, this is not the interest of productive people. I know a lot of business people. In fact, me, myself, the only reason I'm talking about this is because it's a red hot issue and everyone in my group is talking. And yes, I have some important clients who even asked me my opinion on this. Otherwise, this Hindu-Muslim issue, India-Pakistan issue, BJP-Congress issue, it doesn't feed me, doesn't feed my family, doesn't increase my bank balance, nothing. All you're doing is you're being a puppet and they're taking you for a ride. And in the end, these people at the top are sitting and laughing because they are the ones who are benefiting. My request to all of you is we need to take a higher stand. We need to hold ourselves accountable to higher standards. And we need to tell you guys want to fight it, but privately. We don't want any part in this. That is why I've created in my WhatsApp groups these public groups where this Hindu-Muslim nonsense is not allowed. But these small groups where you can abuse each other, talk bad, do bad words, insult each other's way, it's a very small, tiny group. And the funny thing is, they've realized we are a very small group. There's no much attention here. And there's not much happening there. Why? Because they realized, fuck, I'm not getting any attention. This is exactly what politicians want. This is exactly what the haters want. So this is my analysis of this incident. I just feel every action has, as a reaction. You are responsible for what you do. And if you're in a country, follow its rules, follow its laws. And if you do not like the laws, leave the country and go elsewhere. So for me, I'm pretty sure that these people who got arrested knew exactly what they were doing. So they are not innocent. They are not like poor, innocent little children. And now you have to pay a price for it. Now, is it wrong to support a team? Absolutely not. But when you know that an issue is red hot, when you know that there is tensions between two religions, two countries, simply causing more trouble is not the solution. If you had done it privately, nobody would have said anything. This is my opinion with regards to this matter. You can tell me if I'm right or wrong. I leave it to you. I thought I would share my opinion since many of you asked. So feel free to comment down below. And like I said, please, hatred against any religion, hatred against any political party is not going to help. Share your opinions. That's healthy. It's always good to have a debate and discourse. But an attitude where you're biased against each and every human being of a particular religion or sect is not the answer. Having said that, I'd like to conclude. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. This is me signing off. You guys take care.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others or by fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Machedo is the best.